How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I hope you are well. Hope you are ready for the game tonight. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you're ready for the game tonight. It matters if the players are ready.
Mitch, I'm already warming up in the pen. Does that tell you how ready I am? I'm already up in the pen. I'm
Well,
warm, ready to come in.
the bad thing is they might need you.
They need anyone, everyone. We'll get to that. A
Yeah.
basic thought for you, brother. Is this one of the greatest regional weekends in the history of college baseball?
Yeah, I think it is. And, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but I thought it had been good all weekend. And I thought the afternoon/evening session games were just phenomenal. Just great drama, and they were kind of spaced out really well. And I've watched a lot of the Kentucky-West Virginia. I've watched both of those games, and I watched a lot of that regional, and just been mayhem in Morgantown. And from the Alabama into the Alabama-Oklahoma State game was great. Watching what Kansas did wasn't a close game, but to watch them come from 5 down and that crowd, just very few boring regionals, just a lot of drama everywhere. It's been great.
We already have 3 non-national seeds advancing, and we have 6 more games today. So, and the norm is 12 or 13. It could end up being the same number, but you hinted at something. I think it's the way we even got here, because how many of these national seeds advance had to come through the losers brackets? The games themselves, observation number 2. Number 1, this might have been the greatest regional weekend, and it's still going. Number 2, is there no pitching in college baseball this year? Because the scores have been insane. And remember, these aren't even games 4 and 5. The scores have been insane.
Right. I thought that some of the scores getting out of hand, and I thought that'd be good research. I'm sure someone's doing it. I chose not to do
Mitch,
it.
what about your people? What about your athletic minions?
They're on strike. My research team's on strike. I don't pay them enough. But I have noticed that too. And to your point, it's not. These aren't some of them were, but some of them weren't the elimination games either. And I guess there's some strategy obviously involved with that. Once you fall behind by a certain amount, you throw in the towel. But it's don't know what it is. Why there seems to be higher scores. Pitching, maybe, I don't know. We get some deep portal thoughts here, more spread out. I don't know if that's the case at all. I just think it's an offensive era in college baseball, and we saw a very offensive weekend.
Oh, again, and for those that didn't really watch, it was insane. The number of runs being scored, and not just, it's not the old days, game 6s and 7s. Aces were getting shelled. I don't know how many times I saw a factoid. Most runs allowed this year, team, individual, it just didn't matter.
Yeah, and it wasn't all hitting. It was a lot of bad pitching, which is hand in hand, but especially a lot of walks, and especially in the West Virginia, Kentucky regional, a lot of free passes, hit by pitch. Kentucky got hit 6 times in one game. Wake Forest blew it. Wake Forest only gave up 4 hits to Kentucky on Friday, but too many walks and too many stolen bases, and then they lost the game on a wild pitch. So it's not just great hitting, it's poor pitching execution by some teams that are obviously among the best in the country because they're in the NCAA tournament.
Top story, number one, didn't even make the regional final, and it's for the 2nd straight year. So I wish we could say, oh my God, we haven't seen it since. But UCLA goes down in flames in their own regional. Cal Poly is your Los Angeles regional champ.
Yeah, I'm mad. I make regional predictions, and I first had UCLA not coming out of their region. I had Virginia Tech as the 2 seed, and then I changed it, ended up not picking UCLA to make Omaha. Not shocked there. I watched a lot of the Big Ten tournament, just the way the times went, and they had to come from behind in all 3 games. And there's a lot of great stats out there about them coming from behind and rallying. And obviously, they were a great team because they won a lot of games. But you cannot continue to play like that. And they survived game 2, their second game against Virginia Tech, coming back. But you just, like I said, you just can't keep playing with fire. Their number 1 pitcher has been out. So I just did not think the way they were playing that they were going to win that regional. Cal Poly had a solid season in the Big West. Virginia Tech was one of the weaker 2 seeds. I thought they should have been a 3. So you kind of UCLA got a break even with that. Although St. Mary's evidently, people were saying was one of the best 4 seeds. So there's different ways to judge the strength of a bracket. But yeah, it's well documented that number 1 seeds. Tennessee's the only one since '99 that has won the NCAA tournament. But the storyline so far, you're right. Rock Chalowski and UCLA will not be moving on.
By the way, I absolutely loved your regional preview news notes that you did, because last Monday you told us it was coming out, and it came out Wednesday, and Thursday I actually had the chance to sit down and go through them. I thought it was like simple fun. Like each regional was digestible. You had great notes. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'm a big stats guy, as you know, and I like just diving deep and spending amount of time finding little nuggets of information that interest me, because everything that interests me don't interest fans. And as you know, I love college baseball. I follow it. I don't pretend to know every team. I can't. I would rather do what I did with a fun fact on every team than try and write 200 words on the Oregon State matchup. Strengths and weaknesses of both teams. I think my strength is more going for the stats and stuff like that. So that's why I approach it that way. And it's my favorite. It's literally I love my job, but my favorite thing I do every year is that story, coming up with a good stat, fun fact on every team in the term.
And I like the way you said it, fun fact, because a lot of people could do this and drown the reader to death with these facts, but fun fact, it was a fun read, and I like the info I found out about the different teams. Yeah, big fan.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And also, I'm sure we'll get to them, but you read it. You found out that the Milwaukee Panthers had the pitching staff had the highest OPS against in the tournament, and they are in the driver's seat in their region. But I have a feeling that Auburn's going to beat them again today. But
yeah, me too.
That was one of the most shocking. Auburn's pitching staff imploding in its first 2 games. Even the game they won was just shocking.
Yeah, the whole weekend. That was the whole weekend. And okay, story number 2. I don't know if Southern Miss losing, but Little Bleeping Rock is in their first ever super regional. I love these stories. It's part of what made this weekend so awesome. Okay, do you realize that we could have Little Rock and Cal Poly in the College World Series?
Yep. And Little Rock was the only team to beat LSU in the 26 postseason last year. And they had them on the ropes in the second game, and then they kind of ran out of pitching. So great story there. Southern Miss, that's 2 years in a row where they've hosted, and they did not get out of their region. They lost a home super regional to Tennessee about 3 years ago. So that's a good program that's stubbing its toe in the postseason. But totally agree. I'm sure we talked about this, but I was in Omaha last year at Media Day. The Murray State players there were just awestruck. And it was such a great scene to see them there. All the players love it. The Arkansas guys, they love it. Everyone loves being there. But when guys go to Murray State or when guys go to Little Rock, do they really expect, they might say it, but do they really expect to end their season in Omaha? No. And so if one of those teams, whether it's Little Rock, and Cal Poly's historically a better program, they're in a better league, and they were a higher seed. But if either one of those teams get to Omaha, it'd be just a great story.
Yeah, and again, I'm rooting for both. And for those that don't understand, the matchups, Cal Poly is going to go against maybe West Virginia or Kentucky, and Troy and Little Rock could be a super regional matchup. Troy, Florida, who do you like?
I've got to go with Florida, the boring pick. They've got more pitching. I'm rooting for Troy. I did a story on Troy. Or you can find it if you Google it. I spent a day in the dugout with Troy as they played up here at Vanderbilt. So I got to know some of the players and just kind of spent the day with them. And Skylar Meade, their coach, is a good dude. He gets it. He's a South Carolina pitching coach. And they put up a huge number on Florida yesterday, so they're playing with a ton of confidence right now. But I'll go with Florida. But the interesting thing about the Cal Poly Kentucky thing is, and I don't know exactly the rule here, Kentucky's a 3 seed, Cal Poly's a 3 seed. Now, Kentucky is one of the last teams in the field, according to the committee. So Cal Poly, in theory, was higher in their ranking. Kentucky has a bigger stadium, but Cal Poly put in a bid for a super regional. So I would think if they got their bid and they put enough seats, whatever the requirement is, I think Cal Poly would host against Kentucky. I don't know that to be a fact, but that's the way I'm interpreting things.
Everything you said fits my understanding, but everything's changed over the years. Because my understanding is you had to have bid for a super regional already, and
Yes.
Kentucky would not have.
They might have.
I guess so. We don't know, do
Yeah,
we?
I would think they would. I mean, an SEC team's going to bid. I mean, you gotta think ahead because it's not just the bigger stadium. Like in 2018, Vanderbilt and Mississippi State both won their regions as 2 seeds, and Mississippi State obviously has a bigger stadium, but Vanderbilt had beaten them had swept them earlier in the year and was ranked higher by the committee and hosted that super regional. So I don't think, this isn't 2007 where they're just playing in the bigger stadiums and all that stuff.
Right. I guess the reason I said this with Kentucky is I thought they were already making off-season plans. That's why I'm thinking in my head they probably didn't even bid for a super.
I bet they did. I mean, Mingione was saying all along he thought they were going to be in the tournament, all that. If I'm Mingione, if I'm the Kentucky staff and my athletic department did not put in a bid for super regional, I'm majorly PO'd.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're an SEC school. You've got to put yourself in position to, obviously to play at home.
Speaking of Kansas, so they were the Cinderella story. They won their own regional, but that was an ugly regional, and I mean in the stands. Like, at one point, the cops are saying, we got to get people out of here.
Yeah, we have seen this so many times, and it's good for the sport. Obviously, you don't want like bad things. But when fan bases are experienced to regional play for the first time, it's the best atmosphere ever at that place. In Kansas, small stadium, I think 2,700, but they expanded it. I think they called it the backyard. They created space in the outfield beyond the fence. But the problem is, Arkansas was there too, with a huge fan base and a fan base that likes to watch their team play in person. And I wasn't following all this on social media, but evidently there was a lot of back and forth between fans, Arkansas fans pounding their chest. We're the SEC, like laughing at Kansas for their small stadium. So I think there's some animosity between the fan bases going into it, and then the games were heated back and forth. So I'm not surprised. I didn't really see a ton of the stuff that you're referring to, but I'm not surprised that there was stuff going on there.
Yeah, it got out of control. It wasn't the best of environments. Something, I don't know if you looked at this, and when after the timeout, we'll talk about the games of today, but if OU could pull off the upset on G-Tech, and I know Kansas, OU in a super, the old Big 12 going at it again?
That would be amazing. Hadn't thought about that. And I wouldn't put it, for Georgia, we can talk about the matchup later, but Georgia Tech, Oklahoma, I haven't seen the pitching matchups. I don't know if Cam Johnson's pitched yet. They're a great lefty who walks a lot of guys. But Georgia Tech's offense is obviously incredible, probably the best in the country, but they don't have great pitching depth. So this could, OU could win a 14-12 game here. This is, I would not rule out an OU win, but yeah, that would be super fun. Oklahoma versus Kansas in the Super.
There's a million great stories. This tournament will continue to be epic and awesome. I've been talking about all the things that caught my attention. What about for you? What stood out? What was your storylines of the weekend?
Ole Miss was impressive. The atmosphere in Nebraska was great. Nebraska is an amazing fan base. I've thought about this a lot too. We've talked college football. Like, Nebraska is almost the perfect storm for an amazing fan base because Omaha's a big city. I know the campus is in Lincoln, 45, 50 minutes away. Lincoln's actually decent size. But it's a big town, a big city, and there's literally no other game in town or close. Like, Kansas City's 3 hours away.
Right, so they got no pro teams in the state. No pro team in the whole state, right?
Right. And Kansas, like I said, Kansas City's the closest and 3 hours away. So, like, that is the game in town. So so whether it's softball, volleyball, baseball, so they have always supported baseball, and obviously they're really into it. So I thought that was a fun regional right there. I thought again West Virginia's comeback against Kentucky was amazing. I don't know if you saw that, but just the way it started with a slow ground roller going under the Kentucky guy's glove, giving West Virginia hope. Then there's a walk and a hit by pitch. So those two, and then just like, ACC struggling as a whole, I guess would be a storyline. North Carolina cruise, but Florida State's playing in a Game 7 right now. Wake Forest didn't get. I thought Wake Forest could win that regional. Virginia, was a 3 seed or 2 seed, but they didn't They didn't win their regional, so kind of a poor showing by the ACC as a whole. So yeah, ton of great storylines.
Yeah, no, tons of great story, tons of great games, tons of crazy games, the tons of games that went into extra innings and featured 8th or 9th inning comebacks will be my last kind of like storyline on this. It tied into how great it really was. How many 8th, 9th, and extra inning games there were?
Yes, and yeah, I mean, like the ones too, like the Alabama-Oklahoma State game. It's just the weirdness of college baseball where Alabama's the visiting team playing in its own stadium, trying to win a regional. So that was fun, and I'm sure if people have been paying attention, but we touched on Milwaukee, but that was probably the biggest story of the first 2 days. This Milwaukee team got to start the season. They were 1-7 against two Power 4 teams that were LSU finished 14th in its league, and they lost 16-5, 5-3, and 21-7. Then they lost 3-4 to Duke, who finished last in the ACC, I believe. Scores of 20-3, 10-8, 6-1. They got swept by Evansville, 2 of 3 to Evansville. I mean, whatever. I can keep going on. They were like 2-15 at one point.
They were 5-20 something or something.
Yeah. I mean,
5-20 something.
Yeah, like I talked about, their pitching staff is just not good, and they go down to Auburn, and they win 13-8. They score 13 runs against UCF. So we'll find out. In fact, I was a little surprised. I went to bed last night. The game started at 10:10. I saw the second inning when Auburn hit a 3-run homer, and there was like 5-0. I figured I'd wake up and the score would be like 25-2. It was only 8-1. So, but I don't know what kind of Milwaukee doesn't have good pitching to begin with, so I don't know what kind of pitching they have today. But that's been an amazing regional right there.
All right, Mitch, we grab a quick timeout, come back, and let's take a look at the games of today.
Sounds good.
Mitch Light of the Athletic, hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. It's our regional roundup. We've been talking college baseball spring long. If you need some forestry, mulching, pond construction, a metal building, a custom metal building from the ground up, go check out d4landservices.com. d4landservices.com. It's the Louie Bellina Show, Monday on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. Fun is allowed and sports are fun. Weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone.
We're joined again, Mitch Light of the Athletic. Mitch, here's what we know so far. Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, Alabama host. Oregon, Mississippi State, Kansas, national seeds. Your underdogs. Mississippi, Cal Poly, and God bless them, Little Rock, have advanced. Here are the games of today. Florida State, St. John's, they're currently underway. Do you have a score on that?
Yeah, I've got it on my laptop. It's 1-0 Florida State in the bottom of the fourth. St. John's is the home team, but St. John's has runners on first and second with no outs.
Why has Florida State struggled in their own regional?
I don't know. Good question. Their offense isn't what it was. They were a good team this year that I have to look back. I don't think they beat a lot of the great teams in the schedule. They kind of feasted on the bottom part of the league. So I think they were a good team deserving of being a host.
But a 10 seed.
Yeah. So, maybe that's a little high. We'll find out. But yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. And they just bunch into a pop-up. I know the stuff we want to talk about, and I don't want to respond to a dumb comment on social media. But I saw someone respond to UCLA losing and say the dumbest postseason ever. Basically, because a team that good loses in the postseason, so it's the dumbest postseason ever. And I don't get into battles on social media, but I was going to reply, what are you talking about? It's double elimination. Compare it to other postseasons where NCAA basketball tournament, you lose one game, a bad shooting night, and a great season. Baseball is set up to avoid, to give you a mulligan if you have one bad game. So I just did not understand the comment about how the postseason's dumb because UCLA lost. I would think it's the opposite.
Oh, no. Hold on. They got the toughest 4. They got a 2 that's really a 3. I mean, no. That's not. I'm with you. That's all.
Yeah.
We can spend an hour break. The only thing with the baseball postseason that's fishy to me is watching host schools be visitors in baseball games and regionals and supers. Even.
Yeah,
that I don't get with.
Yeah, that's small. Like I'd much rather be the home
it's
team.
not a deal breaker. You said I agree, but that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I love the postseason format, and it favors the better teams. So this is not an excuse for any one seed that loses. If you want to say a 4-team regional over the weekend isn't how the baseball season unfolds, I get that, because you play. That's why some coaches want to add a weekend and just have like 32 hosts and just have another, best 2 out of 3. You play best 2 out of 3s. You don't play 5 games in a weekend. But again, that favors the better team, so I don't buy it as an excuse for any number 1 seeds losing.
Georgia Tech, Oklahoma. That game's going to start up in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, so much of this is just about pitching, and most teams are going to say are all hands on deck. I'm going to be boring, probably pick most hosts in this situation, but I think Georgia Tech's offense is just so good, and they're going to feast. Just got to stay with it. They're going to feast on Oklahoma's pitching, and I'm checking real quick to see if Cam Johnson. But of course, Oklahoma has 2 Cam Johnsons, so I got screwed up and picked the wrong one as I'm trying to do this on live radio. So carry on.
Okay. All I know is this: the winners is the first of 15. They shouldn't even be an innings thing.
Yeah, I would agree there. I think I'd be shocked if the winning team has less than 10 runs, and the losing team might have more than 10 runs.
I want OU. I want OU Kansas. Look, if it's not an A&M thing, I'm about storylines and greatness. That's all. So,
yeah.
Holy cow. I got to share this real quick from my TV set while you're still looking.
Yeah.
Breaking news per ESPN, LA Rams are finalizing a deal to acquire Myles Garrett.
Oh, I saw that during the break. Yeah. That's wild,
wow.
Huh?
Torbush, wow. Because that'd been rumored for about 4 days now, and it's not the first Myles Garrett rumor, but now that doesn't go public unless it's pretty much done. So anyway,
just so you know, like one of our, I was on a Slack channel, one of our athletic beat writers confirmed it too. So
wow, that's just absolutely nuts. Going back to the regional stuff, so maybe instead of you picking all the favorites, which of these do you think is the most likely to have an upset that are playing today? Here's the other ones: Milwaukee, Auburn, Kentucky, West Virginia. That's too even to have an upset. Troy, Florida, and USC A&M.
Well, Kentucky, West Virginia is a 3 versus 1, but I won't pick that since you said I can't pick it. I go Troy. Florida, again, they've been so inconsistent, and their pitching they've got at its best. Like you can say this about every baseball team. Like A&M had a great run where you're like they're never going to lose. Like Florida through the SEC tournament, like until they lost, they looked like they were going to win the national championship. Like their pitching was coming together. And some of the guys have been slumping in their lineup were hitting well. But baseball's it's a weird sport. You can just go cold. And, Florida has good arms. For Troy to put up, and I watched some of that game yesterday, for Troy to put up, 15 runs on them yesterday, that was very impressive. So I think also this isn't a huge factor, but of the SEC powers, so to speak, like Florida's home field is like not the most intimidating. So, in Troy's won at Georgia this year. They beat Alabama. I don't think they'd be spooked by a big crowd, but I don't think that will be a factor tonight.
No, so fair enough. So, all of them, the most likely upset is Troy, which would set up. Hold on, I want to check my bracket here before I screw this up.
Yes, Troy versus Little Rock.
There we go. How cool would that be?
And Troy, I think, was 32 and 29. I think they tied the record for most losses for an at-large team. Which would be just an amazing story. I hope, selfishly, just because the coach, they were good to me, and they're a fun group to be around for that one day. But I'd love to see Troy advance there. That would be such a fun, super. And Troy's got a good home field environment. I think they set a record this year when they played Alabama at home. I think they had 5,000 fans there. So I think opportunity for Troy to host the Super would be great for that school.
I don't know if you've watched any or caught any, but any thoughts on A&M USC, the A&M, the College Station Regional? I know there's been a million going on.
Yeah. Actually, when I was prepping and doing a little prep for the show, I realized I had watched so little of that because the times didn't work out and the games weren't good enough for when I was when I was not watching another game. And then last night I was going to watch some of it, but it was 8-1 early or whatever like that. So I have not watched. I just, USC's kept talking about USC's 1-2 pitching combination to watch out for. And then Andrew Johnson pitched great last night. The one, not one of their top two guys. Curious to see what they do. I looked, Grant Gavell, if that's how you pronounce it, he threw 80 or 90 pitches on Friday. Wonder if they come back with him today.
Don't you just throw him out there and it's 2 innings? Don't you start him? Or, okay, look, even if you don't start him, he's going to pitch today at some point. And you're not going to get, he threw 780 like you said. But even if you get 2 innings of quality from him, that's enough.
Yeah, some coaches, that's a no-no. They just won't go from a Friday to a Monday. And, it depends on, Mason Edwards is the better draft prospect, and he pitched Saturday. I know we got to go in a second. That's one other thing, too, I love about these regionals. And teams like Northern Illinois, you'll be watching this guy threw 70 pitches 2 days ago, and he's on his 80th pitch day. That's cool to me. Those guys aren't prospects. There's the people that will go on Twitter and just yell at any coach that someone throws too many pitches. But most of these guys know their careers are over. So they'll just do anything. But that's not the case with some of the, a guy like Mason Edwards at USC. So I'll be curious to see has A&M announced the starter?
Oh, no, they haven't announced the starter for 70-80% of their games for a month.
Okay.
They have Aiden Sims and TBD, and Aiden Sims is out for the year.
Yeah. I was a little curious that it starts today, on Friday. His numbers are just been.
They're not good.
Batting average
They're not good.
His numbers have been horrible this year. I guess he's. I don't know how many pitches he threw Friday, but I'm sure he'll be in the mix tonight, right?
Okay, here's the best guess is this. A&M is going to have every pitcher that's already pitched. Lyons has thrown twice. He'll throw an inning or two tonight. Sadeo's going to pitch again tonight for an inning or two. And their closer is Clayton Freshcorn. 3 innings is kind of actually commonish. He had a 5-inninger, and I think it was Auburn. The game escapes me, but he was brilliant in it. The debate is whether you start him or not, because he's your best pitcher, second best behind Sims, who's out for the year. Do you start him, try and shut down the USC momentum, hot bats, and let your offense get you off to the hot start? Or let me ask you this, Mitch, and you can help me just in general.
Yeah.
Do you save your closer for a situation that might never happen? The only good pitcher on this team left with Aiden Sims out.
There's two. They wouldn't save him for a real closer situation. They'd bring him in a high-leverage situation mid-innings. I would. That's a great question. I would probably roll the dice and not start him, but plan on using him the first time things got dicey. Because then if you can steal, again, it's a gamble. Everything's a gamble. If you can steal 2 or 3 innings out of some guy, anyone, and then you still have him for 3 or 4 innings, you feel like you got some momentum there. But again, if you start someone and gives up 5 runs in the first inning, you're like, well, they should have started Freshcorn. So the only answer is the answer that doesn't work out. The only wrong answer is the one that doesn't work out. But that's one of the things I love about postseason baseball too, is the strategy involved and the way to use your pitching.
USC has scored 19, 15, 14 in their last 3 games.
Oh, wow.
I almost think it's worth it to throw Freshcorn to stop them. You need to stop their momentum, because if it's 8-0 in 3 with any other pitchers you throw, again, your best bullet never got to factor into your elimination in 2 games.
Yeah, that's fair. And I don't know his deal, but you said he threw 5. I'm sure if he pitched well, I'm sure he could throw 100 pitches. I'd be shocked if he couldn't. This late in the season. I know maybe he hasn't done it, but if you can throw 60, you can throw 100.
Yeah, it'd reach that point where he'd be batter to batter, but they have nothing left. It's just at that stage. Who does? But
right.
The worst case scenario, get down early with USC's momentum and never getting to fire that bullet. That would be in 2 games. Never get to use them would be the worst case scenario. Mitch, enjoy the games. Next Monday, we'll talk College World Series. Brother, be awesome, brother.
Sounds good.
Later.
Enjoy.
Mitch, I cut him off. I didn't let him get to finish the word. I feel so bad right now. When we return, I don't know, we'll talk more baseball. It is a very Aggie baseball, college baseball Monday on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. They have free estimates. They have military and veteran discounts. They are CC Electric.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
The Louie Bellina Show. It's awesome. Sports, barbecue, ice cream, and
beer, and more beer. You know where.
Listen in weekdays, 11 to 2 on the Zone.
Turn it up.
Time now. Our final listen with Aggie baseball. It was after the loss last night to USC. A&M baseball. Head coach Michael Early, Jake Dewar, and Gavin Grahovic. Gavin Grahovic, 3 bombs on the weekend, 1 per game and counting. If you're an Aggie baseball fan, don't we all hope he has another tonight?
Coach, just what was the energy before the game, and just how did you feel like that kind of just unraveled for you guys?
Energy was fine. It was the same as it normally is. Baseball is a sport where your energy and whatever, we're fine. Our guys have been prepared all year to play. They're ready to play. They just got out on us, right? And their guy did a good job on the mound. Credit to them. They kept us from scoring, and they scored a lot, and we didn't. So that was the story of the game.
Coach, what did Andrew Johnson do that made things kind of difficult for you guys? And then also, how would you kind of assess how Darden did tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that guy did a great job. I mean, we hit some balls hard and didn't have anything to show for it, but we didn't get hits with guys in scoring position. So he did exceptionally well when guys were on base. I thought the at-bats were fine. I'm not sure. I mean, he struck us out 4 times. I thought we found some barrels. They found some gloves, but no discredit to him. He did a great job. And just with Darden, they just got on him early, right? They got I think he hung a slider. I don't even know if he hung the slider. It was pretty far off the plate, it looked like. Guy got it in the gap and just kind of unraveled from there.
Yeah, Jake, just from your perspective, what was kind of he doing to keep you off balance?
I feel like pitchers are pitchers. They want to get their pitch, and I feel like he was just getting his pitches. But as an offense, we just got to do better at just being able to just swing at strikes, I feel like there were a couple times we kind of went out of our approach, and that caused some issues. But other than that, I think our guys did what we needed to do.
And Mike, tomorrow, what does the pitching staff look like? Is it all hands on deck?
It's all hands on deck.
Gavin, obviously as the leader of this team, what's the message, what's the mindset for going into tomorrow?
If there's any day to show up, it's tomorrow. Season's on the line, but at the end of the day, it's nothing we haven't done all year is show up and respond. So that was the message after the game. Show up, give your best effort, play our brand of baseball like we say every single day, and we got to get runners on, we got to move them over, we got to pitch well, we got to do all the things right in order to win a game tomorrow. So if we want to keep this season going, we got to do the right things tomorrow.
Obviously you lost and you're probably not celebrating, but that was a majestic home run that you hit. Had everything you've done for A&M, 22 home runs this season, 47. How does that feel? Can you appreciate what you've done despite the loss today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I appreciate what this school's done for me more than what I've done for it. I think that's the easy way to put it. This school means a lot to me. This program means a lot to me. Coach Early, these guys mean a lot to me. So, I mean, the least I could do is go out there and give my best effort every single day.
Yeah, Mike, could Clayton Freshcorn be an option to start, or would you like to just keep him at the end of the pen?
We haven't decided what we're going to do yet, but it'd definitely be all hands on deck, something to consider. But, yeah, I mean, we're still fresh after this game and just kind of processing it and where we want to go. But, yeah, there's many different options, and we'll, I'll get in there and I'll make a decision based on what I think gives us the best chance to win.
Mike, obviously this team has responded to adversity really well this year. What about them allows them to be at their best in those moments, and what do you expect from them?
Yeah, man. I mean, look. I mean, could there not be a more fitting outcome for this team than this right here? I mean, this has happened to us a few times. I mean, some of the losses we've had have been large, right? And all we've done is respond. I mean, it might be unprecedented, the season we've had as you look at wins and some of the losses we had that have just been so sideways. So it's not one of those where I walk in tomorrow and it's like we haven't been here before. We've been here. We've been here all year. It's happened. We've responded. And like I've said it many a times, my trust, my belief in these guys and the whole team and the staff, we're ready to go. I mean, I'm going to flush this thing here in about 5 minutes. We're going to move forward, and we're going to come out tomorrow and get a play in front of our home crowd. And what more could you want, man? What more could you want? Yeah, we never want to lose. We never want to get our ass kicked. that always sucks, but it is what it is. It's baseball. They beat us, period, from the frickin' first pitch. But we got a game tomorrow, and we're excited to get out there.
There you go. At the end there, a very fired up A&M baseball head coach, Michael Early. Yes, a very, 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 very fired up A&M baseball head coach, Michael Early. They freaking from the first pitch and other such things. And maybe that's why the team responds so well, if that's your head coach. And I don't know. They do. That's the one thing. Lou, why do you feel positive or optimistic about them winning tonight when they have they have one pitcher left exactly and he's problematic because he's your closer? They've responded all year. All they have to do is what they've done exactly all year. All they have to do is why they're hosting. Like, why are they hosting? Because they've always responded. You go 3-7 in game ones, the first game of all those SEC series, and somehow you're a national seed. Somehow you finish third in the SEC. Somehow you were a top 16 team in the country, right? Like I said, a lot of parts don't add up, and it's the bounce back. It's the resiliency. It's them always this year responding. That's the how. And this is just another situation. A lot of teams in their position would be nervous, would have trouble sleeping last night, would wake up today and this would carry over. That's not them. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Which ties into last night. Why did the offense look like they were pressing? Why did they look like they were all trying to tie the game up with one swing when they were down like 7-0? They've been down all year. Their pitching's been so bad they trail early. It's normal. That's what kind of frustrated me about last night's game. Getting down even 4-0 should mean nothing. They're used to trailing. It's normal. So why press? Zachary in College Station texted and said, Mike has me ready to suit up. Yeah, that was pretty fiery. And that's just in the press room. Yeah. Matt in College Station texted. By the way, anybody could text at any time, any day, about anything at 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. I'll see what's up inside the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. At Texas Mobile One Lube Express, they keep it simple. They say, if you be good to your car will be good to you. How do you be good to your car? You take it to Texas Mobile One Lube Express. Matt in College Station. Oh, this is fine. Okay. There are always going to be sports, and it's in quotes, sports fans and writers that just do not like or appreciate baseball. He was probably referencing Mitch Light, and Mitch was saying he doesn't like getting into social media, beef, wars, criticism, and stuff, because Mitch commented about people criticizing the college baseball postseason format. Those people were the ones complaining about UCLA being eliminated. That's I know you need a little bit of a flow chart there. And there are people that don't like college baseball. So, and okay, there are people that do not believe in aluminum bat baseball. And if you come up to me and go, I don't believe that baseball should be played with aluminum bats, I can't argue with you. I actually understand those people, and I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it. I love college baseball. But there's a lot of people who on social media know everything. So they feel like they have to comment on everything, including things they don't have a clue about. And the college baseball format, if they were to switch and everything was best of 3 and there's only 2 teams, I actually would not fight it. But to say that this was unfair to UCLA, no. If you're a top 8 national seed, this format is never unfair. Now, after that, it gets shaky. We know A&M is not a 12 seed. Is A&M in jeopardy right now because of the NCAA committee? No. A&M's in jeopardy because they have 2 total pitchers that you can count on. They have other pitchers who can rise up randomly, but they only have 2. That's why A&M's in jeopardy. It has nothing to do with the committee. So, okay. If you've looked around the country, A&M is not experiencing anything that has not been experienced 100 times this weekend. Again, A&M, the committee is not why A&M's offense short-circuited last night against a common average relief pitcher. That's not the committee's fault. So we can move forward from that, I hope. Anyway, so yeah, UCLA, and Mitch said he picked UCLA to be upset, except he didn't have the testicular fortitude to pick a Cal Poly. He picked Vatek, who was a bad 2 seed, and felt bad about it. But he just knew UCLA was vulnerable. So that's not the committee's fault. But back to, I know I'm digressing, and I was born a rambling man, so what do you want? But he just said there's sports fans in Rise that just do not like or appreciate baseball. Yes, that's true, without a doubt. But I'm going to tell you something. I love, in general, at an 80% clip, almost all college sports because you still have passion. Pro sports, you have scalpers and you have people that wear t-shirts more than you do on the college level. But at college level, the players still have passion. The fans still have passion. So it's why I'm a college sports junkie, period, because it just means more on the college level. We're at the pro level, I get to start the offseason early, but I still get paid. This is the Louie Bellita Show. I'll be right back, okay? From inside the Charles Schwab studio, Monday?
Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Let's go. Weekday mornings, 5 to 8 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
As we head out the door, I'm jumping into the lifestyles portion of the Louie Bellita Show. And I heard a rumor that the spelling bee, Scripps National Spelling Bee, happened over this weekend or something. I'm sorry. I lived in a world this weekend that had 2 things: Aggie baseball, College World Series softball, and that's about all I had time for. A 14-year-old from San Bernardino, California won. The winning word was bromocryptine. Bromocryptine. Can you use it in a sentence? Yes, I can. The winning word of the spelling bee was bromocryptine. Can you give the origin? No, I can't. I can barely say it. So there was a website called unscrambler.com. And what they did is they took all the internet search data and found out what is the most problematic words for us Americans to spell. Words, and when you put in how do you spell or how to spell into search bars. I don't know how accurate it is, but according to this research, this analysis, here are the hardest words for us, that we're willing to Google to figure out anyway. Search bar. Here's the hardest words for us to spell across America. At number 10 is the word separate. At number 9 is niece. At number 8 is the word beautiful. Number 7 is definitely. Number 6 is because. Number 5 is tomorrow. See, I don't spell words because if you're keyboarding nowadays, it auto corrects or it tells you to correct. So I don't Google search. The number 4 toughest word is business. Number 3 is through. T-H-R-U-G-H. Can you use it in a sentence? Yes. Through is the number 3 hardest word to spell across America. Number 2 is favorite. And the toughest word, according to unscrambler.com, is bougie, which is a great word. I just hear someone say it, my radar, my spider sense tingles. So number 1 is the word bougie. They broke it down by state. Texas had none of those. 10 is the hardest. The most Googled word on how to spell. In Texas, the word that was the hardest, most Googled was recycle. I don't know of anyone that recycles. Maybe that's why we Google it. But that's the toughest words according to Googleizing research we put in the data bar. The toughest is bougie in the state of Texas it is recycle.
Your home for Texans Live, the Louie Bellina Show, and Chip Howard Sports Talk is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Listen on the Zone app or online at radioaggieland.com or tell Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Play Zone 1150.
Listen live on your phone, smart speaker, computer, or the Zone app. Powered by Loyalty Plumbing, where craftsmanship and loyalty is their business. Visit loyaltyplumbingllc.net. Take the Zone and your favorite teams and shows with you wherever you go.